everybody, welcome to another video of vintage TV and radio stuff. I don't know how vintage this is, but it is a radio and a cassette player, and it's nice and shiny, and it's, well, as you'll see, it's really cheaply made. This is a Suntone Micro System boombox, I guess you could call it, with two detachable speakers, AM/FM radio, and cassette player. And just to give you a little perspective of how big this is, the middle part is where you put the cassette. It fits, you know, right in here, and the speaker is no bigger than a cassette. That's basically how big this is. This was made by a company called Suntone that apparently made lots of inexpensive electronics and cameras over the past few decades, mainly as premiums, prizes, gifts, whatever you want to call them. And I've done some videos on other electronic stuff that, you know, is basically designed for that purpose. Nothing you could actually purchase. It was like a prize, or maybe if you hit a sales goal, you got something. But these are so badly and cheaply made, they're entirely disposable. And it's amazing when you actually see something like this pop up at a thrift store or a rummage sale or whatever. And this is something I got at a Goodwill recently for about $5, which is probably about $3 too expensive. But I had to get this. So here's the front of it, and we're going to zoom in a little bit, and I'll show you the front part. The back. We'll take these speakers off. They're actually detachable, and we'll find out what this sounds like. And here's a closer look at the front upper part of it. You've got the volume control fader, which goes from right to left. You've got your selection switch, AM, FM, and tape off. You've got the tuning control, and then you've got your dial there. And if you notice, it's sort of backwards here a little bit. You've got the lower frequencies on the right going up to the higher frequencies on the left. Most radios do it exactly the opposite of that, so it made me wonder a little bit about this. Plus that volume fader, I would normally would think you'd go from left to right too with it, but not in this case. Below that is something called May 1 Rewards 2000. I'm guessing that might be something regarding the premium, or what you were winning this particular prize for. There must have been some sort of big May sales push or something, and well, if you hit your goal, here's your reward. this cheap radio and cassette player. And here's the bottom part. This is where the cassette goes. You've got a well, almost complete control system here with play, fast forward, stop, and eject. No rewind, sorry, can't afford that. Then on the left you see prox circuit. I do not know what that means. I'm thinking maybe that is the company that was, you know, giving away this prize. I don't know. I looked up prox circuit, I googled it, couldn't find anything. And as we zoom out, you'll notice each speaker has power base on the bottom. I took one of the backs off one of these speakers. There is no power base there at all. It's just one speaker, and there's nothing there to give you any bass whatsoever. So once again, that's just window dressing. Here's the back. You have some information about the unit. There's a 6-volt DC power adapter there for plugging that in, the input for that. And then you've got room for the batteries. This particular unit needs 4 AA batteries. Plus there's the speaker plug for the 2 speakers, which you can actually separate because there's plenty of wire there, and they do come off actually. This little toggle button here, if you push that in, I believe you can remove the speakers. See, look at that, pretty exciting, huh? So we'll take those off, and we'll flip this back around and see what it sounds like. Okay, so I've got the batteries in there, and I separated these speakers, so I'm sure we'll get a great stereo separation effect here. Just kidding. And I'm going to elevate the telescopic antenna, which goes, it looks like about an 8-inch antenna, something like that. So I have it on the AM band, and I'm going to turn the volume up. And here's your tuner. Okay, don't forget we're down to the lower end of the frequency on the right side of the radio, not vice versa like most other radios are. So let's flip it off to FM now. Let's see what we get now. Turn the volume up a touch. Yeah, hear that power bass? Yeah, that's it's quite impressive, isn't it? I'm not even sure if there's actually anything coming out of this one speaker here. Yeah, I guess there is actually. All right. Oh yeah, there's a little handle too, by the way.
For a year. Oh, but that probably wasn't the plan.
Well, you know what? Actually, the tuner works pretty good, to be honest with you.
Then they go out and they
it's not
trade
too bad.
for cars.
Except on the higher end here, there's could be a couple stations we could probably get here, but
Everything's
it's not coming in. All right, well, you know, it sounds exactly like you would expect it to sound, very, very tinny, very plasticky, because, you know, this may be a nice shiny metal-like look, but it's nothing but plastic, obviously. Okay, so let's grab a cassette, and we'll pop that in here, and we'll flip this over to tape off, so now I can turn this volume back up again. And we'll hit play and see what happens here. As you can see, not a lot of room here, although it should work, I would think.
and women would agree.
Right.
This is it, the big one, said Fred Weasley. The one,
It actually works. That's good.
said George. We know Oliver.
First test, obviously, whether it actually plays or not.
We were on the team last year.
And
shut up, you two. Good. All of you. Harry followed Fred and
It's
George out of the
needless to say, it's one of these things where if you were using this, you'd have to hold the top to hit stop or anything else, because it is kind of top heavy, I guess, if anything. But yeah, hey, you know, at least it works. So there you go. So this is once again, it's the Suntone, the Micro System, and by that they are not lying. This thing, like I showed you earlier, it's not much bigger than a cassette here. Produced mostly for giveaways and for premiums. If you, for example, if you were maybe in middle school and you were selling Christmas cards to raise money for the band trip, and you sold $150 worth of Christmas cards in wrapping paper, you might earn this as a gift for, you know, doing such a great job. And it's certainly worth every penny too. Anyway, that's our vintage TV and radio thing for today. It goes back at least 23 years to the year 2000, so I guess that is somewhat vintage. If you have any comments, leave them below. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. We'll have more vintage TV and radio stuff down the road. Thanks for watching.